Okay, now that we've finished with the process edit screen, let's go back and resume in the parts edit under process tab. And as you saw earlier, process 1008, specifically for this part, process 1008 has 6 steps. And sure enough, when you select process 1008, 6 steps came over from the library to this part. Now, an important piece about this screen is the ability for you to add to customize this, to add another step only for this part. Even though in the library we created a generic 1008 process with 6 steps, for this part we may say only for this part we want to add one to say ship to ship to I don't know, ship um, clean use I'm sorry, use carton number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 uh, for this part only. Okay, so meaning this particular step was added, but this excuse me, it doesn't affect the master file at all. It's only for this part. You understand the implication here? Meaning, you can have a generic one at the library level. You can copy down for this part, another part, another part. But for this part, I want to use the common stuff, but there's an exception to this part. I can add an exception without changing the master. Beautiful, right? Beautiful. So you see this, the ability to customize it for just one particular part. You have all the same steps and same features as far as columns, the different tracking column like department, estimate number, estimate time, and so forth. But the ability to customize it for one particular part is available for you. Okay. If let's say you don't want to customize it anymore, you can just simply reselect it and say I want it back from the original, from the master file, and it would just be back to 6 step rather than the 7 steps that we have here. But I'm going to keep the 7 step just to for illustration to show that in fact you can have a customized step just for this part. Okay, so that's what's this process pages tab for this part specification. Again, it has the process ID, which you can pick and choose from the list, or you can do it by this description. If you know the description, you can search by the description here in alphabetical order. And if you have a need to change the base material other than what's specified in the process default setting, you can change it. Think of creating the process as a default template setup. And then when you pull it into this part, you can override it. You can change whatever you need to change if you have to. You have that option. Doesn't mean you have to change it. Just simply just accept for what it is, and if you need to modify it. Okay, so let me stop this. And in addition to that, let me go further here. I think we in this you also have the ability to print barcode and pictures. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the barcode and the pictures just to show you later on um, when we print the work order ticket, the barcode and the picture for each operation will show up on the job ticket. So here I'm going to go ahead and select a part, and I'm going to go ahead and select a picture. Okay, now that we have the picture folder, I'm going to illustrate, I'm going to show you how we're going to associate or attach a picture image for this process. So we're going to go to Metfin V9, select the folder, and we have some sample pictures here uh, that we can go ahead easily attach. This should show, for example, masking. Okay, so I'm going to do one here. You can see a little preview thumbnail right there, and another one could have yet a different picture altogether. Okay, for operation 2. Again, the point here is that you want to show the operator out in the shop a particular area to pay attention to, or what the part looks like, to again to minimize mistake. The idea is you want them to be able to look at ticket and say, this is the part I'm working with, rather than having to guess as to what it is, what it looks like. And having pictures says a lot as far as excuse me, training is concerned. For anyone, for people who work in the material handling, they may not be very computer savvy, but they know if you train them properly with proper support tool like pictures and so forth, they can quickly go to the right part, get the right part, work with the right part, and so forth. So that goes toward a long way of minimizing mistakes. You don't want to handle the wrong part. You don't want to do the wrong material either, right? Sometimes they look very similar. It's common. The screws, some very similar, but different sizes, different base material. Like, so having a picture can be very helpful. Uh, just another one. Okay, so in this case we have three different pictures here. The last operation, I don't want to print pictures nor barcode. Just to give you the idea that we have the option to print barcode on certain operation and picture on certain operation, but not others. Because some operation you can scan, but others you don't need to scan. Just to give you the idea of that it's possible. Yes. What I mean by scan is that when they when they print this ticket out and they give this work order to the people on the shop, scanning allows them to keep track of who touched last, who worked on it. They're like, oh, I'm working on this. Boop, scan. It registers in the computer main system. Oh, Joe is working on this at 8:30 in the morning, and when he's done, boop, scan. Joe is done at this at 9 o'clock, an hour later, and then Jill will come in. She will take the work and scan. Boop. Jill now shows up in the system, or if it's multiple individuals working on this at the same time, boop, 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 scanning. Well, on the computer we see three or four individuals working with this work order at any given time. It's called tracking. Where? Not used. This is not. It's process det obsolete. If you look at the knowledge base, no use. Ignore it. That has no meaning. Obsolete. That was for pre legacy support. So now that we have pictures and barcode print option checked off for these steps, we will save this. Okay, we will save this, and that concludes. As soon as you associate the pictures with the part, now you have these pictures on there, and you can double click on each one to see the full view of that very easily, and then just go back to where you were. Okay, so that concludes the ability to attach pictures and print barcode option